What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. We all pointed and laughed at how much Konami reprinted Foolish Burial Goods, but we didn't know how well we had it, because it's all too often new cards release and people go, that's pretty good with Foolish Burial Goods. And when I stare at this, well, the common is now above $1 solidly over here on TCG Player. The super that used to be considered pretty much bulk out of Dark Saviors is rising towards $2, so if you open the set heavily, you might want to go back through that. The ultra rare out of Battles of Legend is around that same price, and then we had the secret rare first editions bought out completely to the point of $15 over here on TCG Player. Now, I think sales rates for this will be somewhat terrible. We already see a motivated seller back over on eBay, first edition towards $750. He wants to get it out of his hands. And then there's the foreign listings that people didn't buy out because this is a half-assed buyout. And then you have the other ones listed towards 11 to 13. When I do stare at this card, it has a lot of upward potential. This is hyped right now because of the Golden Land zombies, among other archetypes. And you have a competing secret rare version because it's from the older Megatons where the rarities match up, which was the norm until last year's Megatons. So you see it towards $6 right here, even for the other secret version. I like to max rarity my deck as much as the next guy, but when there's other holofoil versions that are just chasing so close, it doesn't make sense that all this bubbling up is happening in price for both secret rares. I think first ed original is what you want. Try to get a decent price, and it's not the worst investment long term unless, you know, Konami goes, hey, let's make this ultimate rare, and there is a higher rarity than secret, or they give it some kind of other placement. But I just think this will end up in like the next dude that Konami prints if they do one, or somewhere else. I don't think Konami's done selling this card, and you're gonna see it be really hard to sell at a decent sales rate versus the quantities you might have picked up on market if you were buying this out. Zombie World is up for the holofoil version, as there's only one, but it's still relatively cheaper on eBay. I was looking up past sales. It was up towards $9. This is a fan favorite typing within the game, so I understand why people chase after this and they want the holo version. I feel like true fans probably already had them, but it was a mad rush last night, also thanks to the Golden Land zombies, and that's kind of where these two are spiking in price from. I want to shout out the Patreon real quick. The community's been growing a lot. You may be sick of hearing me talk about the $20 tier, but I actually had to go, for the first time in years, look up how to buy top loaders, and I love the conversations that come from the Patreon. And I found that Amazon is cheapest thanks to Cade B, unless you guys have a place that beats 7 cents or less per top loader. I was looking at eBay, they're still around 8.6 cents, and at buying something like over 1,000 of them, well, it actually ends up at $69 for around 1,000 on Amazon. So I was looking at the card world, I was looking at eBay, and you guys enrich my content over on the Patreon, and I thank you very heavily for it and being active in the conversations here that I sometimes put ahead of Market Watch. Now, Duel Overload, I don't often market theory here on Market Watch, you know, Theorio, but we're speculating with actual prices. But the more I stare at this set, the more I read the description. Store, you got surprises in store that we can't tell you yet. We have 6 oversized collectible cards, and you have the leak showing altar arts. I just can't help but compare it to the Rarity Collection, because this is a 50 card set, and this is a 100 card set where you shove 30 Link monsters and maybe a couple more reprints because they're mentioning Madolches and other stuff to throw us off the scent. I really think the Rarity Collection is going to have kind of this fusion into it, and stuff like Impermanence that is in the Rarity Collection. Why would they not use this to sell another $30 MSRP product? Again, I get it has a lot going for it right now, but they want it to be set of the year. They want you to smile while spending $1 per card at $30 MSRP on these things. I really would suggest getting rid of your pot of extravagances now and picking them up closer to the WCQ, because you will have motivated sellers there, I think. And even though it's being played in combo decks like Spiral, you have another FNL list, you have more reprint sets to be announced that can crash the price with panic selling, such as Battles of Legend, by the way, but I feel like they have to be done with Savage Strike sooner than later. I don't think they'll sell this in the Megatons unless this is a promo for the Megatons, and you see other people on market trying to make those sales, agreeing eBay to listers at $100 before you do see it go up. So if you're in the market, you want to bet against me, here's a couple of $100 copies versus the 110s that have been selling off the shelves, and I can't help but feel like there will be a lot of parallels to this. When I see Millennium Eyes Restrict on the Rarity Collection list, they did start Legendary Duelist reprints in the Speed Duel packs, heralding that they might be considering it for other places. And then you even have kind of sillier ones, and I'll get to them in a second, but Urgent Schedule feels like it's too new of a Legendary Duelist card to get in. So when I pick through here, I am kind of weighing my options, what could be in, what couldn't be in. Of course, certain things won't follow. It's unlikely they'd print the Alter Art Ghost Scrolls again and take up slots, but who knows what Konami will do. There's definitely things to consider moving forward. Like, I wouldn't think Urgent Schedule could end up in there, but I would see Millennium Eyes Restrict being in there, and stuff like Steam Synchron, Forgotten by Time, is in the Rarity Collection. I don't think that's a coincidence, and we only have one printing over here in the US, so I think even silly stuff like this may have its eyes put on by Konami to where it ends up in this $30 MSRP set. Imagine you're just only stuck in $30 products of your Steam Synchron. But again, this is all speculation and market theory. Let me know what you think. Do you think it won't tie to the Rarity Collection? Do you think the leaks are fake, that the Alter Art cards aren't on there? I think it's really hard to fake packs, so it is a huge asterisk, a grain of salt, but I just think they have to be selling Savage Strike out soon, and I think the other cards just make too much sense for them not to reprint at some point and make some bank on. Also, there's the alternate art Levianir somewhere down the line, so you might want to consider selling those secret rares. Rank Up Magic Soul Shape Force, huh? Y'all are really after the weirder buyouts. I do get that the Raid Raptor link is anticipated, but you have only 2 of these at 99 cents before they are $3, and it's similar on eBay, $2.20, $2.50, and then it just goes up to $3. People are after Rank Up Magics in general. I do think they're baby stonks. I think they're good things to hold on to in general, and this is one of the best ones. You pay half your life points, you get out huge boss monster. Yeah, it's nice, and it does get better under the new master rules, so I get why people are after this one, but dang, people reaching back here for them. Also, in your bulk, you might have a couple of commons out of Wing Raiders. Wing Raiders, some of my favorite bulk hands down of all time to pick out. Last Strix is towards $1, and so is Alphon. While it's very competitive, there's very high quantities by some sellers. Having commons that are more so towards $1 are very nice to have, not only in trades, but to sell to buy list in the future and that sort of thing. So when you're picking bulk, look out for a couple of cards you might not have been pulling before, despite how freaking broken they can be. Number 100, Numeron Dragon, has been bought out once again. I do think this card has a lot of cheese to it. It does get better under the new master rule. It is only out of Dragons of Legend, so if you're a number hunter, here's another one that is getting hard to find. Red Eye's Insight, in the anticipation of Dragoon, is towards, again, getting bought out towards $6, and it's not much better on eBay. Of course, you're searching Red Eye's Fusion with this, which only has 3 printings, and the common even is going up, because how long has it been since we've seen the original Legendary Duels? This is a card I would have sooner than later, even for the common. It's not a guarantee we'll get a reprint when we see Dragoon. And Insight, I hope it gets a reprint, but it also only has its 1 copy for itself. I told you guys, the Enabler, would it be what stays up? We see Bahamut falling on all fronts. The gold rare, if you've been waiting for it, is way back down in price and affordable to get. Totally awesome is what people want. It's the ends of the means. Bahamut Shark is just the means in certain decks. People will be playing Toad back in regular stun decks, Paleo, Trap Trick, that kind of thing. But when you look at Toad, that's what Bahamut heralds and brings out, and it doesn't have its reprints. I told you this would be way more likely to go up and stay up. Here it is, staying up in price versus Bahamut. Sometimes it's nice to say a little "I told you so," but I can be wrong on the market too. You can see multiple waves, talking about these water monsters, of buyouts towards Bahamut Shark. You could see greedy vendors trying to keep it up, but here's your time to get in on the gold rare using my TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra for the cards that are cheaper than other people paid for them because you listened here on Market Watch. Also, Lambda had its buyout the other night. It was all the way up towards 30 when we were looking at him on stream, I think, and then I forgot about him, and now here he is towards $21. And also, Beta starting to peak back up in price, interestingly enough. I guess they want it in the battle phase if they have access to it. There's just not a lot of quantities of him versus his prices being lower. So if you're really thinking about extra Sci-frames, I guess I just couldn't see it. I think Gamma's the best one, and then you'd go after the spell one. I think that's Delta next. So there are interesting things when it comes to Sci-frames and their quantities on market and their prices, but don't just freak out. And Sci-frames, I know it's exciting, but chill on the buyouts sometimes. Like, you have Super Gamma still available, and I think while Lambda does only have its one printing, it's cooling off right now. You'll have people selling it off. Thank you guys so much for watching today's Market Watch. Thanks for checking out the Patreons for those that happen. I want to ship to all 50 states in a single month at some point, and already being towards 11 is crazy to me since we were at just 4 the other day. So thank you guys for checking that out. Hopefully you enjoyed the mail out rewards if you are hitting the $20 tier, or if you're just doing the $2 tier to check out kind of the conversations and feed. Thank you guys. Any level of support that's direct from you, it's crazy to me that you reach out in that way, and I really appreciate it. You can just support by watching videos, though. Always take care of yourself first. If you're considering where to eat this month, you're considering, you know, how you're going to pay your bills, don't be looking at the YouTube man's Patreon. Take care of yourself first and always. But if you're considering investing in a 4th or 5th case of something, max raring out another copy of a Mermail deck for mirror matches, then go ahead and take a look at the Patreon and check out the tiers. Thanks for watching, everybody.